fuck no.
He's beating the living shit out of me, Billy. Day in and day out. Can't take no more.
Please.
Billy Butcher is trapped inside his own mind. Mindstorm has locked him in a loop of his worst memories, and the last thing he sees before he wakes up is his little brother Lenny pulling out their father's gun. A brother he left behind. A brother who couldn't survive without him. A brother who killed himself 6 months after Billy walked out the door. Everyone thinks Butcher's war is against Homelander, against Voght and Soups. 4 seasons of rage and violence all pointed at one man in a cape. But this scene proves something the show has been telling us since the beginning. Every fight Butcher has ever picked, every person he's pushed away, every line he's crossed, none of it was really about Homelander. It was about a dead boy in a kitchen, and the brother who left him there. To understand how a man ends up fighting everyone except the thing that's actually destroying him, we need to go back to a house in London, before the Soups, before Becca, before any of it. Sam Butcher is not a complicated man. He's an abuser, he drinks, he rages, he beats his sons. And the show doesn't waste time making you understand him because understanding isn't the point. The point is what he leaves behind in the 2 boys who grew up under his fists. Billy and Lenny respond to the abuse in opposite directions. Billy absorbs the violence. He takes the beating so Lenny doesn't have to. He becomes the shield. And somewhere in that process, he starts to become the thing he's shielding Lenny from. Lenny goes the other way. Quiet, gentle, nervous. Aunt Judy later calls him a skinny, nervous little bugger. The kind of kid who hides in a closet while his brother takes a beating and then crawls out to comfort him after.
Where is he? Who?
Don't fuck me about. Where is he?
Then comes the stapler. Billy gets caught selling weed at school, and when the headmaster compares him to his father, Billy snaps and attacks him with a stapler. Lenny runs in to stop him, and Billy, mid-rage, punches his own brother in the face. The one person he's spent his whole life protecting, and he hits him. He's horrified. He apologizes immediately, but watch what happens next. Their father takes them to a pub and rewards Billy for the violence, calls him a tough guy, and then looks at Lenny and calls him a poof. That moment is the seed of everything. Sam is teaching Billy in real time that violence is strength and gentleness is weakness. And Billy absorbs that lesson even as he hates the man teaching it. He doesn't realize it yet, but his father's voice is already inside him. Then Billy leaves. He enlists in the Royal Marines because he's terrified of what he's becoming. He tells Lenny he has to go because if he stays, he'll kill their father. And Lenny, the kid who survived this long because his brother stood between him and Sam, begs him not to go. And right before Billy walks out the door, he says the word his father used.
For fuck's sake, Lenny. It ain't my job to look after you. Don't be such a fucking poof all your life.
His father's voice, coming out of his mouth, aimed at the one person he loves most in the world. 6 months later, Lenny is dead. In the comics, Lenny's death is an accident. He gets hit by a bus. The show changed it to suicide. That's not a small writing decision. That's a fundamental rewriting of who Billy Butcher is. Because in the comics, Lenny's death is tragic but random. In the show, it's Billy's fault. He left, and the kid who couldn't handle the abuse alone put a gun in his mouth. Every single thing Butcher does after that, every fight, every betrayal, every person he pushes away, is running from that kitchen. If this kind of deep dive is what you come to YouTube for, I'd appreciate it if you hit subscribe. I'm trying to reach 1,000 subscribers, and every single one of you gets me closer. Now, let me show you how that kitchen follows Butcher into every relationship he's ever had. Becca was the off switch. The show tells us this directly. Before Becca, Butcher was self-destructive, violent, and picking fights with strangers. After Becca, the violence stops. She calmed the storm. But here's what the show reveals that changes the whole picture. The storm didn't start with Homelander. It started in childhood. Becca wasn't a cure. She was a bandage on a wound that never healed. And when Homelander took her away, the bandage came off, and everything underneath was still rotting. Then comes Huey, and this is where the pattern becomes undeniable. Aunt Judy sees Huey for the first time and says he's the spitting image of Lenny. That's the show telling you exactly what Huey is to Butcher, a second chance at the brother he failed. Huey is gentle, nervous, and kind. He's Lenny with a different accent, and Butcher latches onto him the same way. Protect him, keep him close, stand between him and the thing that wants to hurt him. But watch what Butcher actually does. He pulls Huey into violence, he lies to him. He manipulates him into situations that could kill him. When he finds out Temp V is fatal, he hides it from Huey instead of warning him. He hits him, and the show draws a direct line between that moment and the memory of him hitting Lenny. Same rage, same regret, same cycle. Butcher doesn't protect Huey. He channels him. Huey came to Butcher with his own grief, his own rage after Robin's death. But left alone, that grief would have burned out. Butcher didn't let it burn out. He fed it. He took a kid who was angry and turned him into a soldier, not because he wanted to hurt Huey, because it's the only thing he knows how to do with pain, pointed at someone and pulled the trigger. Sam Butcher's voice is still running the program. And then there's Ryan, Becca's dying wish, the only promise that ever mattered more to Butcher than killing Homelander: protect my son. And for a while he does. He bonds with Ryan. He tries to be something close to a father. Karl Urban said it himself. For me, it was really about linking that tragedy of Butcher's childhood to Butcher's interactions with Ryan and coming to understand why he is so inept at being a parental figure, because he just doesn't know. He's never had one. And then the moment things get hard, Butcher looks at this child, a kid who just lost his mother, who didn't ask for any of this, and blames him for Becca's death.
Ryan, let go.
I won't let you!
Well, maybe I don't want to look at you. After what you've done to my Becca, did you ever think about that?
He pushes Ryan away, and in doing so, he pushes him directly toward Homelander, the one thing Becca begged him to prevent. It's the same thing he did to Lenny. Different decade, different kid, same Billy Butcher. When it matters most, when someone vulnerable needs him to stay, he can't do it. Here's the mechanism. Butcher doesn't destroy people because he's evil. He destroys them because he's terrified of becoming his father, and the fear itself is what makes him become his father. Every time someone gets close enough to see the real Billy, he shoves them away before he can hurt them. But the shoving is the hurt. Butcher can run from that truth. He can bury it under Homelander, under Vought, under one more mission, one more fight, one more enemy. But in Season 3, the show takes that option away from him. It locks him inside his own head with nowhere to run. Mindstorm traps Butcher in an endless loop of his worst memories, and the show makes a brilliant structural choice here. This isn't a conventional flashback. Butcher doesn't narrate his past or tell someone about it in a quiet moment. He's trapped as a third-person observer inside his own childhood, watching it happen, unable to change a single thing.
Lenny? Billy?
Leave off him, you cunt.
Karl Urban talked about playing these scenes. The flashbacks were fun to play. Ostensibly, Butcher is a passenger for the first part, until he comes across that tragic scene with Lenny where he was never actually present. That last part is crucial. Everything Butcher sees at first, the beatings, the closet, the stapler, the pub, those are real memories. He lived them. But the final image, Lenny pulling out the gun, walking into the kitchen and killing himself, Butcher was never there. He was already gone. This is not a memory. It's the nightmare he's been building in his head for decades. The scene he's imagined 1,000 times. Mindstorm forces him to finally see it. And before Lenny pulls the trigger, he turns to adult Billy and says the line that breaks him.
The last person in God's green earth trying to stop you from being a monster, and what do? Drag him down to your level.
That's not Lenny talking. That's Butcher's guilt given a voice. Every face he sees in that nightmare, his father's rage, his own violence, Lenny's gentleness, they're all parts of himself that he's spent his entire adult life refusing to look at. And Mindstorm's power doesn't let him look away. When Butcher wakes up, he grabs Huey and says, "I'm sorry." And you can see it on his face. He's not apologizing to Huey. He's apologizing to Lenny. For one raw, unguarded second, the mask is completely off. Butcher doesn't see his teammate. He sees the brother he left behind. And for 1 second before the walls go back up, you see who Billy Butcher actually is underneath all of it. A man who's been grieving a teenager for 20 years and fighting the entire world, so he doesn't have to sit with that grief. Urban said it plainly. That's the point where Butcher loses it, and it was heartbreaking stuff to play. And here's the devastating irony that the show has been building towards since episode 1. Homelander is a monster. He destroyed Butcher's life. None of that is in question, but Homelander didn't make Butcher violent. Homelander didn't teach him to abandon the people who love him. He didn't put his father's words in his mouth. Sam Butcher did all of that before any soup ever entered the picture. Homelander gave Butcher a reason to fight, a real one. But the way Butcher fights, pushing away Huey, destroying Ryan, burning down everything he touches that was already in him. Homelander lit the fuse, but the bomb was built in a house in London a long time ago. The real enemy was always his father, or more precisely, the part of his father that lives inside him. Every time Butcher rages, every time he pushes someone away, every time he picks violence over vulnerability, Sam Butcher wins. By the end of Season 4, Butcher has given in completely. He lets Kessler, the voice in his head that sounds exactly like his father, take the wheel. He kills Newman, he betrays the boys, he steals the virus, and he drives off into the night with the monster smiling beside him. The final season won't be about whether Butcher kills Homelander. It'll be about whether he kills the part of himself that keeps destroying everyone he loves. Whether Huey, his second Lenny, the canary in the coal mine, survives this time. Whether the pattern finally breaks or whether it completes itself one last time. If you made it this far, thank you for watching. See you next time.